I say? What was I looking for? Huh? Amy at her Amy's. Maybe. Maybe this time. The race begins and I cheer Amy's teammates along as they pass the baton. Finally, I see Amy sprinting onto the track to take her final hand off. Wait, she's got two. Why is she taking her final hand off? Get it? Her final hand off? Maybe that would be more appropriate for Mickey. Okay, I'll stop. Once again, I'm taken aback by how graceful she looks when she runs. It really is beautiful. Whoa, you watch those words! You daft male. You're going after Rin, not Amy. The look of determination and fearlessness on her face only adds to the picture. Amy at her Amy's, I suppose. Amy flies across the finish line with a great run, just barely ahead of the next runners. Still on first. See, Mickey came in second. If she wasn't on her fucking knee at the start, she would have done fine. She would have beaten Amy. Well, let's go down. How about you go down on your knees, and I'll stay up, and I'll unzip, and we'll see where things go. Gotta crown the victor. See if you can find a laurel branch. That's not going to be easy. Rin shrugs. At least we tried. Amy is surrounded by her teammates, all of them congratulating her on the run. Rin seems to be waiting for Amy to notice that she's arrived. It doesn't seem her style to draw attention to herself, or to emote beyond shrugging. Being more impatient than Rin, I wave to Amy in her steed. She looks up and grins happily at us. Hey, you showed up! We would have brought we would have brought you a crown of laurels, but Hisao didn't find one. Neither did you. More than my job to look. You done goofed up. When did we assign jobs? You know, I see if you can find a laurel branch. Try to keep up. I shrug. Guess Rin's rubbing off on me. She should be rubbing off something on you. That was a failed sexual innuendo joke. I'm just gonna stop. Seems it's my fault after all. Amy laughs at Rin and me. It's okay. I'm sure you'll make it up to me somehow. Sure. Good. So how did I look? Very impressive. Amy seems pleased with this assessment. I don't mention how much more impressive her performance is given her lack of legs. I figure she knows it already. Besides, it seems like it would take away from her efforts on him. Great to hear. I was worried that I looked a little slow on the relay, but I guess I did fine, huh? Amy giggles and then seems to remember something. Oh, before I forget, Rin and I are going to do something next Sunday as a post-track meet celebration. You should come along. Normally we do it the day after, but since today is Sunday, I've got homework in class and all that stuff to take care of. Oh sure, I'd love to. Great, it's a promise then. Oh right, your mum wanted to say she's proud of you. She'll call later tonight. I thought I saw her in the stands. I'm glad she made it.
Hey Amy, you gonna miss the medal ceremony?
Oh yeah, thanks. She turns to Rin and myself. You don't have to stick around for this part, it takes forever. Besides, you should be cracking on your homework now if you don't want to be up late, Hisao. I don't need to do that. Amy skips back to her teammates, leaving me and Rin by ourselves. Well, now that she's gone, how about we do a little hump bump? Neither of us has the slightest interest in the post-competition ceremonies, so we silently get away and back to the quad. The quad? Rin yawns. Oh, don't talk about yawning with me, man. Oh, here it comes. Every time, every goddamn time. Without even trying to restrain herself, and shuffles her feet around restlessly. I feel awkward, but less so than if I was with someone else. Still, I'm left hanging, not knowing what I should say next. Amy was great, wasn't she? She was great. I'm very jealous of her. Why? Like I said, don't you think it's great to be able to really be yourself? It sounds weird coming from Rin. It does sound kind of weird coming from Rin. I don't think you, of all people, should have trouble finding a way to express yourself. Don't you have your paintings? She turns to look at me. For the first time, I see in her eyes this strange, hollow expression that I think must be unique to her. No, you see, the problem is that I'm not really sure who I am. Mind fuck. Mind blowing. That's where we leave the day, with that. Oh my god. That really has blown my mind. Okay. Today's art club meeting is currently on hold while everyone waits for Namaya to show up. I take this time to try and explain my theory about Yamaku to Rin. I've tried to figure out what exactly about the school feels so special to me. That concept I unsuccessfully tried to explain to Yuko the other day. It's still difficult, but the track meet and the time I've spent observing my fellow students have helped my ideas mature a little. Have you noticed that people talk all the time? That's so strange, honestly. I'm baffled. I can't really explain it, but once again, as I try to explain my observation, I'm struggling for words. The student body is heavily clicked, and I'm only now beginning to make sense of the intricate grouping and popularity networks, and yet the feeling of being a part of a group is stronger here than I remember it being in my old schools. Now it just seems like there's much less bullying in this school than any other school. Or maybe we don't see that. That's the behind the scenes at Yamaku. I'm trying to say that this school isn't like other schools, or at least the students aren't, even after discounting the obvious. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what you mean. Oh well, whatever then. You spend all that time trying to explain something and she doesn't even understand it. You should have assumed that much already. I want to pursue the issue, but at this point, Namaya arrives. The teacher is wiping sweat from his forehead. Did he just have a quickie or what? Quickie in the back of the art class? With his forehead with a handkerchief and breathing rather heavily. He did just have a quickie. The fuck? He quickly glances over the room, then settles down for a bit.
Hello, apologies for being late. I was just having a quick masturbation session in the back of the art class. Is everyone present? Good! I must confess, I haven't really planned anything for today, as I have been extremely busy lately, but I'm sure we can come up with something rather entertaining. Anyone have any suggestions? I was thinking we could have a discussion circle since we haven't had one in a while. I at least found the last one magnificently enjoyable.
Oh, what's with the creepy looking one eyebrow down and one eyebrow up look you're giving me, Namaya? Huh? Don't look at me like that, you creepy pervert. There are some murmurs here and there, but nobody raises their voice in support or against Namaya.
We could delve into various movements of art, or does someone have a good topic in mind? Come on, throw it out there. It doesn't matter if it's silly or odd. We can always cook up something interesting.
I thought this was art, not cooking. Nobody seems to be brave enough to make a suggestion. Why don't you be the one brave enough to make a suggestion, huh, Hisao? As the awkward silence refuses to be broken, I lift my hand in the air. There you go, that's my boy.
Oh, our newest friend seems to have something on his mind. Speak up, my boy, speak up.
Well, I don't know about anyone else, but I've always wondered why art exists in the first place. My voice trails off, a silence sets in the room, and nobody makes a follow-up on my meek suggestion. Then the teacher bursts into laughter. Ho 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 ho! Excellent! Ah, whoa, way to make you feel like a dick. Very good indeed. Right out of the gate with the big one, huh? Fabulous. Ah. Chuckling, he shifts some papers around on his desk for a few moments. When he's done, he appears to have made some sort of a decision. Very well then, let us run with this and see where it gets us, shall we? Oh my, even an old fodgy like me gets excited when such delicious enthusiasm is present. Oh my, indeed. What? What the fuck is this? He's like he's got his tongue out and he's drooling. This is creepy. This man is creepy. This is the definition of creepy. Let me gather my thoughts a moment so I can figure out a good starting point for everyone. For some reason the teacher seems to be almost literally bursting with excitement. Just watch out for the bulge in his pants. He scribbles a few things down on a loose sheet of paper, then cleans his glasses with the handkerchief. He strikes a pose. This guy has the weirdest facials, honestly. Then freezes for an overtly dramatic artistic pause that spans what must be half a minute. It's so quiet I could hear a pin drop. First, let's come up with a few questions that we want answered, such as what is art and why does art exist? Anyone have any questions that might be related? The boy with sunglasses pipes up almost immediately. His voice is soft and quiet, and I have a hard time making out what he says. What defines an artist? After him, another question comes up. If I fill a cardboard box with water and call it art, is it art? Everyone laughs at that, even the teacher. Well, it's abstract. Great, wonderful, all of these. Let me start by saying that this is not a clear-cut issue by any means. And as such, I'm not going to give any answers to you. I'm only going to speak from my own perspective. Scholars have argued about these sorts of questions since times immemorial, and there has never really been a broadly applicable consensus reached. There are, however, some qualities that most tend to generally agree upon. Hopefully you all should find these acceptable as well. In short, art defines itself. It simply cannot be contained with definition from the outside, since the boundaries of art expand and contract from forces within. Every day, someone somewhere comes up with something completely outrageous that challenges and all preconceptions. The core reason for this is that rather than the rational side of the mind, art appeals to the intuition, the instinct, the primal. You would find it very hard to explain why exactly it is that you enjoy some particular style or piece, no? He doesn't wait for a response before continuing. This is exactly why. So, art is the sort of wild, uncontrollable thing that lurks somewhere deep in our subconscious. Now, why does it exist? Namaya apparently expects someone to pipe up with a guess, but as nobody dares to interrupt his inspired speech, he continues. It was a trick question! Ha! You see, art also validates itself. Generally speaking, you might say that art exists for no other purpose than itself. It's something that exists merely to leave a mark in history. It's the defense of a mortal against the face of darkness, as was once said. Art is truly the proof of our existence. You should all know that human culture and civilization are tightly tied to the existence of art. Then,
what about artists? What drives a man to dedicate his life to a thing so fickle and mysterious that it even defies definition? There are as many answers for this as there are artists, but if I had to put it into words, an artist doesn't make art because he can, but because he must. Namaya takes a pause, and his gaze sweeps over his audience, eyes flaring with passion. It is obvious that art touches the very soul of each and every human being in one way or another. So, if you were given a chance to connect with your fellow man in such a fundamental way, how could you not? There is a poem I'm very much fond of, and I shall recite the most well-known part of it to you now. I feel that, for me personally, of all possible things, it captures best the essence of what it means to be an artist. Namaya leans against the desk as he clears his throat in preparation. Looking at some distant place, he utters the words in the heavy afternoon air with his soft basso voice. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. There is a solemn and unbelievably awkward silence after he finishes reciting the short fragment. Nobody dares speaks a word. Namaya clears his throat again. To be an artist is to see the world in a grain of sand. You see, dear children, without art, there would not be much to live for in this world. It is a most profound thing. He is clearly touched by this notion. I almost expect to see a lone tear rolling down his rough cheek, but it never comes. Oh, hey Rin. I turn to Rin and whisper to her. So, how is this discussion a circle? She shrugs nonchalantly back at me. The previous ones were the same. To his credit, Namaya does try to get some debate going, but the club seems to be reluctant to comply. I feel a bit guilty about opening my mouth. Maybe we would have been spared from this. As the meeting comes to a close, I realise we haven't once touched any paint or pens today, and I feel somewhat disappointed. It was all your fault. You opened your fucking mouth. Namaya suddenly appears next to us. He seems to be still fired up from the speech he delivered. His cologne smells musky and satire. Saccharine? I don't know. At the same time, giving me an instant headache, even though I'm not sensitive to perfumes. He is looking at Rin like a hungry wolf. Oh, that's creepy. Tezuka, do you remember Mrs. Sayonji, who visited us at the festival? I think so. I'm going to tell you something amazing. The thing is, she's a very well-known gallerist around here. It turns out I might be able to get her to consider having some of your work put on display. He ends the sentence with a dramatic gesture. It seems he's expecting Rin to show some sort of joyous, shocked reaction at such grand news, but she just stares at him blankly. Magnificent, isn't it? This could be a real chance for us to get ahead, girl. But now, I know what you're about to say. Yes, it wouldn't be a simple affair, but I think this is an absolutely fantastic opportunity. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we even made it big. This could be the first step, and then, when the word is out, we strike when the iron is hot. Right, Nakai? Yeah, it does sound pretty great if you're into that kind of thing. See? We should definitely not let this pass, am I right?
Rin seems to be troubled for some reason. I can't figure out why. What Namaya is saying does indeed sound like a possibly great thing. She looks pretty down though, and confused. I've never seen her like this.
So, what do you think?
Rin looks up to her teacher's glowing face, then back down at her desk. I'll think about it. Namaya is at least taken slightly aback by Rin's lack of superlative delight. Then he smiles widely at her and gently pats her head.
Good girl.
The club meeting is finally over, and as I lazily collect my things and help clean up, I start feeling exhausted for some reason. There isn't much to do, however, so it's over quickly. I catch up to Rin, who left the club room just a moment earlier, so we're walking down the stairs to the ground floor while I try to go over Namaya's passionate speech about art, and Rin seems to be lost in thought. Not an unusual state for her. I've learned, but something about her expression makes me feel uneasy. Penny for your thoughts? That'd be too cheap. You're just overpricing your thoughts. I wouldn't be able to sell them anyway. I'm not sure what I'm thinking yet. That'd be fraud too, like stealing candy from a baby. That's theft, not fraud. I have to think about what I think. Is this about what the teacher said? Getting your work put on display and all that? She doesn't answer, but stops in her tracks as we reach the lobby. We're the only people around, so it's very quiet. Footsteps echo from a few floors up as someone hurries along the hallway. I think I'm going to go somewhere elsewhere. I think she really is troubled. Want company? I can't promise much help with the thinking, but it's not like I have much else to do, and I'm supposed to do some light exercise. If you like. Rin leads me outside to the wall behind the dormitories. There is a small back gate there, made from the same wrought iron as the main gate. It leads into the shadowy woodland park behind the school. The gate is rusty as if it hadn't seen much use. However, it sits open, so we pass through. It's not forbidden for students to leave grounds, but somehow I feel a little uneasy. And before we go into the rape forest, I'm going to save and leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next part. Bye.